AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It says XML, but we're going to use it with JSON anyway. It's better. It's basically a way for us to communicate with server-side services from the browser. There are multiple ways we can achieve that, and I'll be showing you a few of those. The most basic one and the oldest one in the book is using XML HTTP request. Let's take a look at our sandbox here. So here I have a very basic HTML file in which I made sure that I included my script. I also have a pre tag in which I will be posting in my results that I get from the server. In my script, I just added a console log just to make sure that I actually connected everything properly, and here I have my browser. So let's get started. Let's go to the index.js file and start making our first request. So here, let me delete this. All right, so here I have a constant request, and that will equal to new XML HTTP request. XML HTTP requests have different states for how the request is being prepared and sent and how it's received and all of that. And these are called ready states. If we look at the documentation here, these are all the different values for the states that we have. So we have unsent, opened, header received, loading, and done. Using this low-level HTTP request API, we're gonna wanna know about when these states are being changed. So when it changes from open to header received or to loading and done, we're gonna wanna know about that change. So here we'll use request.onReadyStateChange. This is a property, but we can use it to assign it to a callback function that gets called every time the state changes. So here I'm gonna create a function, and all I need to do right now is just request, is log that request.readyState. Now let's go ahead and open our request, request.open, and you need to specify the method first, so that would be a get request. And here I have my URL, which is it3049c.chatapplication.herokuapp.com/messages. All right, so now if I hit request.send and save this and go to our browser, if I refresh, I'm getting back 1, 2, 3, 4, and these are basically the ready state values as they change from open to header received, loading, and done. So we got the ready state values, but we didn't really get the results that we're looking for. We did not get the messages that we're looking for. To start seeing some results here, what I'm gonna need to do, let me take this out, and I'm gonna replace it with a few checks. So I'm gonna say if the request.readystate is not equal to request.done, then I just want you to exit the function. Don't do anything here. And if the request.status is not equal to 200, which is the HTTP status code of OK, then here I want you to return a console log that just says failed. Let's clean this up a little bit. And all right. And finally, if we get here, then obviously our request ready state is done and the code was 200, which is a success. So now I need to parse my results. So here I'm going to say constant response equal to JSON.parse. Again, the values that we received from the XML HTTP request is of type string, so we're going to need to parse that to a JSON object first. So JSON.parse request.response text, and here I'm going to console log the response. Let's just console log the first element. We know it's an array, so if I save this here and go to my browser and refresh, here I got the first element. I actually got that here's my object. It has an ID of 1. The sender was myself. And here's the text and the timestamp. All right, so let's try one more thing here. I can actually tap into this object itself and print out stuff like just the sender property, for example, or I can say, let's say I want to put this whole results in the pre-element that we had in our HTML code. So here I'm gonna create a constant for my pre-element, which is document.getElementById, and the ID was result. And here I'm just gonna say my pre-element dot inner HTML would equal to the response dot, or to the request, sorry, to the request.response text. Now let's save this and refresh our page, and here we get our array, and we also get the results of console logging just the sender property right here. We can also look at the network tab here, which will show us a bunch of information about the request that we made. Here I have it filtered to only show me the fetch and a XML HTTP request. So if I click on one of those requests here, I can see the response that I got. I can see a bunch of other information like the type of request, method that I used, the status code that I received, and I can even see how long it took to process that request. So this here took us 233 milliseconds to send the request from our application to the server and get back a result. Before I show you another method of sending and receiving HTTP request, let's see how we can clean up this code a little bit and see how we can wrap it in a function.